good as this guy.
Oh, that's right.
There we go. See you in a minute. See you in a minute.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
When people think of London, they may think of the major buildings and sites which attract millions of tourists per year. For example, Westminster Abbey, where the 39 kings and queens of England have been crowned since 1066. Next. Or Piccadilly Circus, with its advertising signs similar to Times Square. Next. The Victorian Tower Bridge, with its road deck, which can be raised to allow through tall masted ships. Or Westminster Hall and the Houses of Parliament, with Big Ben. Or the Shard, which is 72 stories high, is the tallest building in the United Kingdom. However, there are over 1,000 fascinating statues and monuments, which can be easily overlooked in the hustle and bustle of a busy capital city. Passengers taking the Eurostar high-speed train from Europe to London through the Channel Tunnel arrive at St Pancras International Railway Station. The building was made in Victorian times, and the facade is built of red brick in the neo-Gothic style. In the 1960s, however, there were plans to demolish the station. The poet laureate, writer and broadcaster John Betjeman led a successful campaign to save the building, and he's remembered by the statue which is on the top concourse. Located on the main concourse is a bronze sculpture often referred to as the Lovers statue. It is almost 30 feet tall and greets people who come off the Eurostar trains. At Liverpool Street Station, another bronze remembers the Kindertransport, where nearly 10,000 mainly Jewish children were rescued from persecution by volunteers just before the Second World War. They came from Nazi-controlled regions of Europe and had to leave their parents behind, most of whom perished during the Holocaust. The children were taken in and fostered by British families. Most remained in the UK as adults. On the embankment by the River Thames, the young men of the RAF are remembered for their role in the Battle of Britain. Winston Churchill famously said that never was so much owed by so many to so few. Trafalgar Square is the home of Nelson's Column, which towers over the square at a height of 169 feet. Around the square are 4 plinths, or blocks of stone, on which statues or pillars stand. 3 of these plinths support statues of King George IV, a prominent colonialist, and a major general. The 4th plinth, however, was not completed and remained empty until 2005, when it has been used to mount works of art for a period of up to 2 years. Here are some examples. The British Library, which holds 200 million items in its collection, moved to its new home in central London in 1997. In the square outside the library stands the statue of Isaac Newton, based on William Blake's painting. It shows how Newton used mathematics as a way of changing the way people thought about the world. Nelson Mandela's statue in the square opposite the Houses of Parliament joins other statues in Parliament Square to famous people dedicated to democracy and human rights. Thomas Coram was a campaigner in the late 17th and early 18th centuries for the welfare and education of children, and is thought to be the first person to have started a charitable institution, the Founding Hospital. A school bearing his name still exists. And finally, a bust of President Kennedy, made by the US sculptor Jacques Lipchitz, was unveiled in May 1965 by his brother, the late Senator Robert Kennedy. It was paid for by donations from over 50,000 readers of the British newspaper, the Daily Telegraph. It costs the equivalent these days of £1.5 million.